Welcome to Merschman Seeds Cup of Joe. On this episode,
we welcome one of our dealers, Augusta Farmers Coop, and our area sales manager, Nolan Wilkens, in the West Central Illinois area today. Hear their experience with Merschman Seeds and Enlist E3.
Breaking news! Effective immediately, Dicamba cannot be sprayed according to a restraining order issued in Arkansas.
Ben and Lydia spent this past week evaluating stands, nitrogen levels, and looking at potential replant fields.
Hi, this is Joe Merschman. Welcome to Merschman Seeds Cup of Joe, episode 43, season 3. Today we have Ben and Turk. Well, Ben, we have some special guests too, right?
That's absolutely correct. Today we have Tim Clark, seed sales manager with Augusta Farmers Co-op, and Kurt Eddington, the general manager for Augusta Farmers Co-op, located in Augusta, Illinois, in West Central Illinois. And we also have our sales manager, Nolan Wilkens, who covers 15, 16 counties there in West Central Illinois. So I wanted to start off. I'm not sure who wants to start answering the questions, whether it be Tim or Kurt, but I kind of wanted to start off asking you guys, who are you, what do you do, and give us a little bit of background behind who Augusta Farmers Co-op is.
Okay, Augusta Farmers Co-op has been a farmers cooperative in Augusta, Illinois since 1919. We've been here a long time. Over the years, I've had several 7 managers. I'm number 7. We've always sold grain, feed, seed, chemicals, fertilizer, kind of an all one-stop shop place here in Augusta. We're a town of about 900 people, so we try to serve the community in that way. So
1919, that's a long time to be in business. Must be doing something right.
Over 100 years.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to start off with just a little bit on, how long have you guys been seed dealers? I mean, how long have you personally, both of you, been seed dealers and working in the seed industry? How long have you been a Merschman Seeds dealers? And what kind of made you wanted to jump on the Merschman Seed bandwagon?
How long have we been a total seed dealer? I'm not exactly for sure on that.
I'm going to say roughly since 2000, we've taken on commercial. In the year 2000, we took on a few commercial. We've always kind of sold seeds in the past. When I first started, it was mostly public brands, way back in the day. But we actually took on some other dealerships in the past that through changes of personnel and stuff, we've kind of upgraded to you guys now, and our transition with Merschman Seeds has been very outstanding. I mean, it's been flawless, really. I can't brag on it enough. So
what this brought year number 2 with Merschman's being in with Augusta Farmers Co-op?
Yeah, I've been here 8 years, and when we was a mycogen dealer, and we've had some changes and stuff, and we do Winfield United a lot, and so we've taken on their cropland brand on corn-wise, and we started with credens on soybeans, and as of 2 years ago, they were unable to get us some E3s, and Nolan had stopped by and talked to us a couple times, and so that's really kind of what got us started with Merschman. And I tell you what, it's been excellent. Service is outstanding. You guys have some awesome vehicles. They pull in, they're as clean as a pin. And if I need something, Nolan's either bringing it over or the truck's coming the next day. So I've got zero complaints on anything on the Merschman side.
And there's a lot of things that we always talk about, things like that, but on the accounting side for the girls that's in our office in there, really it's been, as far as paperwork wise, it's been an easy transition, no hoops to jump through, no hidden, you know,
Fees
and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or special discounts or whatever, it's been a straight up deal. And I know that the girls in the office it's made their life way simpler, way simpler. And that's something that almost nobody ever talks about.
The price, the way the price structure is, really works out well.
It does.
For
It does.
For us,
side.
yes,
Mhm.
very much.
I personally appreciate hearing that because that is our goal on the service and delivery, and from the salesperson all the way to the warehouse, and then we are every year trying to figure out how we can simplify the way to do business, because we know there's so much complexity in today's world, and some of our competitors seem to thrive on complexity, and the reality of it is that doesn't make our life easier. We have enough problems.
Yeah.
When you do business with somebody and they have, there's so many different early takes and all this stuff, that hoops to jump through, and then you got to go back at the end of the year and say, well, did I qualify for this discount? Did I do this? Did I do this?
Reconcile.
Yeah, and you have to, and you always have that kind of uneasy feeling. And so far with Tim, he's really felt really comfortable with the whole process, knowing where you're at, your cost of sale, or your cost to purchase it, and it just makes for an easier dynamic being able to set up a price structure.
Yep.
So let's get into some of the fun stuff. What maturity ranges do you guys typically plant? What are some of your favorite products? And how do you feel, you're in your second year, you would have been able to harvest last year. How do our Enlist and LLGT27 products fare against the competition?
As good as any. I mean, in our neck of the woods, we're usually in the 3 to 3.9 range on soybeans, and we've had excellent luck with the 1936s. We've had excellent luck with the 2037s. But on a whole, that's kind of my niche, right in that neck of the woods. I don't have a lot of guys doing early stuff, and so we're kind of in that spot. But the guys, last year, as everyone probably well knows, we've had little lack of rain in August, and it kind of, I think it took 10 bushel off our yield, but we had anywhere from 55 to 65 bushel beans, and all the guys that ordered last year, we had a few guys that was Dicamba last year and had swapped to our Enlist this year on the E3 side, and I'm looking forward to seeing how them turn out, with them being happy with their soybeans. But for the most part, they've been excellent, and I'm thinking I'd like to go maybe just a little touch longer, but sometimes pushing that to the customer, 4.0 or somewhere around in there. I know there's an excellent, you guys got an excellent 4.0, and trying to get that moved around here sometimes is a little tough.
Seeing a 4.0 behind that kind of scares guys.
It does,
yeah.
Yeah, we are a huge fan of the Austin. So the more we push those products, I guarantee you'll have happy customers. So let's switch gears just a little bit and ask everybody's favorite question: what's the weather like today? What's the weather been like this growing season? And what challenges have you guys faced, or how's things going in West Central Illinois?
Cold and wet. That's how we can sum it up. We've really had to fight getting our crops in. Early on, the guys that have the capability to plant corn and beans at the same time, I think they done really well getting their crops in and getting it started. But those guys that have just the single planter that had to switch back and forth, they got kind of caught up gotten one crop in, but kind of struggle with the other with the rains and stuff like that. So, and it's just been such a fluctuation. You know, you might have 1 or 2 days of 70 to 80 degree weather, and then we're back in the 40s at night and 50 during the day. You know, it's been quite a challenge. Yeah, it's quite a challenge.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what percentage of the crops are in the ground, and what are the conditions of those crops in the ground right now?
I would say 60%, 70%.
On the beans?
I tell you, in my shed, I probably got 50% of my beans left.
Yeah,
to get out of the shed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just about done. I've got a few guys that still got a little bit of corn left, but as far as soybeans, you know, they've been going out a little here. Like Kurt said, you got a few days here and they'll go, and then you got a few days.
I would say we're over 85% planted corn. Probably. But the beans we're probably at 50 to 60%.
You know, what was it, week and a half ago, we had 3.5 to 4 inches of rain around here, and trying to get a couple days, was able to spray just a little bit this week.
Mm-hmm.
And now we ended up with almost another inch. In some places I dumped 1.5 inches this morning at my house. And to come back down here and there's 1 inch here. And so it's been a struggle. There's a lot of yellow corn out there.
So what is the focus in the ag retail world? We're looking at rounding the corner into June 1st. What is the focus of what you guys are working on right now? You know, are you working on still trying to get out ahead and work on pre's? Is it posts? Is it thinking about side dressing? What is Augusta Farmers Co-op working on currently?
Right now we're working on doing a lot of second shot chemical application on corn. We're still doing several burn downs of going into no-till beans and stuff. I have been waiting, and I don't know if this is accurate or right to say, but I've been waiting for the guys to get the beans planted that's working the ground, and then putting the application of like chemical like Zidua or something over the top as our pre, you know, let them get their job done, and then lay that blanket of chemical over the top. And then the way the rains have been coming, we've been getting good, you know, to activate the chemicals. But other than that, that's what we're working on. As far as any kind of side dressing, I don't think we could even start down that as wet as it's been. We're not super huge on side dressing a lot, but we do some. But we're kind of mainly focusing on getting the crops in and trying to get these guys a good healthy start.
What challenges are you guys seeing in the industry right now, other than Mother Nature? That's the big obvious elephant in the room. Are you having issues getting chemical, or have you issues getting like fungicides and stuff? We have high prices for corn. We hear about a little bit of shortages. What's your guys' situation, or what challenges are you facing from an industry standpoint?
All the above.
Number one challenge is finding Liberty herbicide. Secondary challenge, there's a few challenges on finding a few of the posts of the Corteva products, like Enlist Duo. The Enlist one herbicide is adequate. It's American made, so it's fine to be, or it's easily to be found. The other problem is making sure to find whatever glyphosate you're going to use. That's been another challenge. So when glyphosate, if somebody comes in with some glyphosate, we're trying to get it bought. I mean, that's just what it is. As far as the corn chemicals, they haven't been any issues in trying to get them in. Fertilizers, I haven't had any issues getting fertilizers, but as a world in a whole, any kind of parts, it's struggle to find parts. Nobody's really. It's just been a
If you can
challenge.
order them, they're 6 weeks out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some points that's too late.
So I guess backing up a little bit too, Nolan, give us a broader picture of what West Central Illinois looks like. We got a nice update from the guys on the Augusta area. What's Area 15 look like?
So like they said, they're only 40 minutes from my place, so it's pretty wet locally here. But then as you move a little bit south and east into my territory, guys got a good start early. The crop is corn is almost ready to close the road down there around that Jacksonville and Springfield area. And then there's corn that's just emerging in that area as well. Soybeans look really good there. I actually just talked to a customer on the way over that said they got about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain, depending on where they were at. So we did need a little bit of rain to get some of those beans out of the ground. And we got some corn that was hoed recently. So that rain will help that corn get out of the ground as well. Really, overall, we look pretty good. A lot of crop in the ground. We do need some heat and some sunlight, I think, would help us all out everywhere. Maybe even up some of this crop and get it going. Overall, look really, really good. And just need some heat.
Growing degree units.
Yes.
That's what we need.
I think that's a pretty common theme south of Interstate 80. Unfortunately. So my final shots that I usually shoot off, and each one of you can answer this, with the prices of being what they are right now, what are the new trends that you guys are seeing? What are farmers doing to chase those extra bushels that are out there? What differences are you seeing out there with guys trying to max out profit per acre this year?
On the soybeans or on the seed side, seen maybe an uptick in some treatments. Guys are doing a little more on their soybeans than I would say than normal. As far as that goes, got maybe a few guys trying to plant a few less soybeans this year, and they're not doing anything drastic, but in conversation we've maybe tried to drop a little bit of population and I tell you that with the treatments of soybeans and added corn, we've seen a big difference in emergence, how long that seed will lay there. It's just been from back in the day that I remember, a big change.
On my side of what we had more farmers actually fertilizing heavier, trying to get the nutrients up there to drive that for them extra bushels, especially on the soybean side. We actually did a lot more heavier rates of fertilizer chasing that extra bushel. There's been more talk than ever about biologicals. Other than that, it's been, I think that's the farmers trying to do a little extra in those ways than normal that we're seeing. So
I think from my standpoint, talking to several other customers and growers, a lot of guys are maybe wanting to not move away from, but do a little less tillage and maybe try some strip till options. I actually talked to 3 people this week that brought it up to me and was like, have you ever experienced strip till and what have you done it with? And we've had lots of conversations about maybe minimum till, strip till, to try to better utilize that fertilizer in the strip versus broadcast applications and kind of they were asking my thoughts on it. So I think more down the road of that precision farming outlook, especially for this year, the way prices are, I think is you're going to see, at least in my area in central Illinois, maybe some guys moving to some strip till and things like that, just to try to maximize yields in the row, for sure.
That's all really good information. What's the best way to get a hold of you? You know, if any of our viewers in the Augusta area would like to do business with Augusta Farmers Co-op, what's the best way and the easiest way to get a hold of you guys?
The best way is to call the office at 217-392-2184 and ask for Tim or I, and Jeff Phelps is our office manager in there. He does a great job answering the phones. He can do and get you anything just as well as we can.
Absolutely.
So he's a great guy and been a good close friend of ours for many years.
50 years.
So, yeah, we all grew up together, so that's a whole nother story. So
Do you have a website or anything that customers can go to?
it's augustafarmers.com, and we have a whole web page of weather and market news and everything like that. So
You can also Google them. You can just type in Augusta Farmers Co-op on Google, and it will show up as a registered business as well. So yes.
Joe and Turk, do you have any questions for these guys before we let them get back to it?
No, I really appreciate Kurt's comment about upgrading to Merschman seeds. So I want to say thank you for that.
it's been an easy transition. So
That's what we like to hear.
yeah. So Nolan's done us a great job. You got to throw that in there.
Yeah.
You know, we got to throw that in.
Well, we like to hear that too.
Very good. Tim, Kurt, and Nolan, thank you guys very much for your time. Thank you for the kind words, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that was a great discussion. That was a very, very good discussion. So let's get back to what's the hot topic this week. I'm going to start with Turk this time.
The biggest thing this week, the news this week, was the Inspector General report that came out that was talking about the decision. First of all, the Inspector General is the oversight committee of the U.S. government that looks into fraud and waste in government, and so they looked at the decision that was made to register Dicamba to start with.
On the EPA side.
On the EPA side, they looked at the EPA's decision to register in both 2016 and 18, and that was the scope of their focus. But when they looked at that, what they found is highly irregular activity, and that the scientific community had little input, so to speak. The main decision as to do what they did was made by senior management within EPA, and in many cases, the scientific community had little say in what was going to happen here. So that was the biggest red flag, if you will, for the Inspector General, that they said that this is a highly irregular registration, that senior management would overrule the scientific community and register a product without a lot of the input from the scientific community. So that was basically the scope of the report. They didn't look at the 2020 registration other than to say that that there appears to be some irregularity there as well, but it wasn't within the scope of their report.
So they did not follow the standard protocol. They deviated from that, which tends to put a really dark cloud over the registrations.
It guarantees that when the plaintiffs in lawsuits that were filed in the Ninth Circuit Court and prevailed to vacate the registration to start with, the 2018 registration, it guarantees pretty much that they've given them all the ammunition they need to make sure that it will be vacated again when it gets to the final court. EPA could decide to vacate it on their own, which is a possibility. But right now, when it gets to the final court, it'll be the same decision as we had last time.
So there's no question about it. The future of Dicamba is
Very
definitely got a dark cloud over
Very
top of it.
suspect.
So
in addition to that, this week in Arkansas, a circuit court judge in Arkansas issued a restraining order to stop the spraying of dicamba in the state of Arkansas, effective immediately. The restraining order was against the plant board's decision to extend the spray date from May 26th to June 10th. Well, the new court date for the restraining order is June 10th, which is the end of the spray date anyway. Yeah. So effectively stopped spraying in Arkansas effective immediately.
Yeah, and with this late planting too, we've got a lot of cutoff dates that dicamba soybeans may not be your best option unless you have flex where you can apply the Liberty. But what I'm saying is if you're planting now and you got to think out 30 days, you may not be able to, under certain, depending upon when the cutoff dates are, be able to use dicamba.
Every day that we delay putting in soybeans is a day that you're taking off the ability to spray dicamba on the other end. I mean, it's going to be very, very tight, and there will basically be very little or no in-season or over-top dicamba application, the way it appears to me right now, if the crop's not in the ground yet.
And keep in mind the Enlist label is R2 versus dicamba is R1, so there's some advantages to going and switching to Enlist E3 soybeans at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Ben, what do you have?
Just shortly here, since last Friday when we filmed Cup of Joe, we've looked at a lot of fields, I guess is what I want to say here, and we've evaluated a lot of replant in the past 7 days, and we've picked out. We always say there's 2 dates on the calendar where the planters probably should have been parked, and we found out that May 2nd, May 1st are probably that first window there where we have a lot of crops that had 40-degree temperatures for lows for 5 days following. So go out, evaluate stands. If you're thinking about corn hybrids and moving to slightly earlier varieties, I have the article there from Penn State that has a growing degree calculator based off late planting. We posted both those last week. They're available again to be able to check frost dates and how later planted corn will actually mature a little bit earlier. So those are just a couple of things to keep in mind. Once things dry out, we're going to have some hard decisions to make.
Ben, you've been out in the muck too and taking a few soil samples, looking at nitrate levels. You started that a little bit. Are you ready to talk about that?
We will have a full episode, whether it be in addition to a Cup of Joe or something. We'll have a full episode coming up in the next week. I'm not quite ready. The nitrate levels seem fairly low, lowest I've seen the past 3 years at looking at stuff. So I'd like to get out and
locally where we've had a lot of rain.
Correct. We'll have a full episode on that shortly.
So you're going to, based on you get enough data points, and you're going to have a recommendation for additional nitrogen.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else?
Just want to remind everybody that Monday's Memorial Day, and day to honor our military friends that or people that have lost their lives defending our country.
Yep. Big day. Yeah, I know our local cemetery just looks awesome with all the flags. It's really a sight to see.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyhow, I'll finish up with our corny jokes. I actually have 2. One that you can tell the kids, and one, well, it might be crossing the line a little bit. So we'll start off with this one here. This one here you can tell your kids. What do you call the person who lives next to a horse?
No clue.
Neighbor.
Okay.
That's pretty good, Joe.
Okay. This one here is, you don't know what a chameleon is. A chameleon is a lizard that can change its colors to match its surroundings. Well, what is it called when a chameleon can't change its colors? Reptile dysfunction.
Okay.
Well, that one there you might not want to tell the grandkids or the kids. So, but anyhow, hope you had a good week, and I hope you have a great weekend. And we're ready to finish up planting crops as soon as we possibly can. Please be safe, and thanks for watching. And as always, we appreciate your business. See you next week.
Thanks for watching Merschman Seeds Cup of Joe.